Speak was the book that I was never going to write. Although I had a fairly pleasant childhood, middle school was hard because we moved around a lot, and high school was difficult because my family was going through some very, very hard times, and we had moved to a community where I didn't know anybody. We moved just before ninth grade started, and I didn't feel connected at all, and I wound up in the ruts of a pretty profound depression through all of ninth grade. And it kind of lingered for a little while after that. So, yeah, I made it through. I mean, the reason I went to Denmark to the pig farm was to get the heck out of high school. It was a pretty good survival strategy, all things considered. But, you know, as a young adult and then an adult, I didn't want to spend much time thinking about those years because they weren't much fun. So now we're to the point in my life where I had, my oldest child was in 6th grade, and she was beginning to enter adolescence, looking a lot like me, built like me, and running into the same kind of nastiness in middle school. And I think in the back burner of my mind, you know, the subconscious is where all the really good writing takes place. All this was accumulating, and I was beginning to reflect with some perspective on my own adolescent experiences. And then the December that Stephanie was in 6th grade, I woke up in the throes of a nightmare, a very vivid nightmare in which a girl was sobbing. So vivid that I went down the hall and checked my kids to see if anybody was really upset, and they were asleep. And as I fell back asleep after checking the children, I slipped back into the same dream, which was this girl sobbing. I was like, oh God. Because I have recurring nightmares all the time, usually a sign that I'm not dealing with something. And so I write about them. I got up that night and turned on my computer and wrote what, after a lot of revision, became the opening pages of Speak. Wasn't going to write the book, didn't want to think about adolescence. My oldest kid was only in 6th grade, but clearly I had some things that I needed to process for my own soul. It took me about a year to write the book. I wrote it mostly before the sun came up because I was working as a freelance journalist, and I was a full-time mom. And when I sent it in, I was sure that nobody would publish the book. And the first publisher I sent it to turned it down. The second publisher liked it, but she assured me that many people wouldn't buy it because teenagers didn't read, is what she said. And the book came out and exploded and went nuclear in ways that have changed my life and my family's lives forever. National Book Award finalist and all those other incredible awards that really left me feeling like Cinderella for a long time. It wasn't that teenagers don't read, it's that teenagers don't like to read boring books. And nor should they have to. I think a great deal of the illiteracy we have in this country is a direct result of children being force-fed books that do not relate to them. And they come to view books as something ugly and shameful and horrible instead of enlightening and wonderful. So I'm very proud that my book has become a standard in curriculum across the country. Didn't anticipate it at all. Kind of took me aback, took me a little while to make sense of this. And then when they put the book in curriculum, people started to invite me to visit their schools. And in the past decade, I visited about 500,000 high school students. And I've talked to them. More importantly, I've listened to them. And they've had the courage and the integrity to talk to me. And everything that they tell me, I would never take a child's story and turn it into a book. That would be exploitation. But my readers let me know, what's going on in their lives, where their pains are and where their joys are, and that has led to every single other contemporary novel that I've written.